All right. Let's take out your notebook. We're only going to do a couple of notes, and then we're going to go back to the worksheet from yesterday. Just wanted to make sure we understand. Okay, so an inequality.
Are you recording?
Yes. Versus an equation. Yes. Okay, an inequality versus equation. They're not the same. They're different. But in what way? Was that a rhetorical? An inequality has like 2x is greater than 10. Okay? What is x? What is x greater than? If you solve this, what would it be? 5, right? Whoa. So then you would graph it, right? It would be 5, 4, 6. It would be an open circle and then shade to the right, right? So this is an inequality. 2x is greater than 10. X is greater than 5, okay? An equation, Evan, you can come back to your seat if you're going to talk. There's no need for iPads anymore. You can leave your iPad charging, but you know, or you can just sit quietly, copy the notes. An equation has an equal sign, okay? So here, x is equal to 5, right? You all understand where I got the 5 from, right?
Yeah.
Divide by 2, divide by 2, we get 5, right? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So an inequality has your inequality symbol, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to. You can graph it, and you shade. An equation, it has an equal sign. And you solve it the same way. Okay, I mean, I didn't do this, but you solve it the same way, right? You solve it the same way. But you have x equals 5. Like, x is just 5. That's it. You're done. This one is x is greater than 5. So x is 6, 7, 8, 9, a million, 3 billion, 100, whatever. This one just has one answer, 5. And you're done. You don't graph these. The reason we don't graph these is because the graph, which you don't have to do, would just be this. 5, 4, 6. It would just be a dot on 5. Because x equals 5. And it's like, we don't graph it. You would graph it if you were in elementary school, right? Remember when we used to like plot the points? That would just be plotting the point. There's no really reason to graph it in 7th grade. We graph inequalities, we don't graph this. Okay, are we okay? Inequality is the greater than equal to that. Equation is unequal to. Does anybody know, just because I'm here, what an expression, what's the difference between an inequality, equation, expression? Yes?
Expression is like you have a problem and then an equal sign.
Okay. Not quite. Yes?
That expression is when you're mad, happy, sad. The feeling.
You're half right.
Yeah.
Expression is 2x. And that's it.
So a number with a variable?
Or 5 plus 6. An expression has no equal sign, has no inequality sign. For the most part, it's somewhat like this, or 3 plus y. Can you solve? If I take this one away, can you solve these?
No.
Can you do anything with them? No, you're done. That's called an expression. An expression has no equal sign, no inequality symbol. Like this one you can solve, right? But an expression would just be like something that's there. You can't really do much with it. Maybe you can simplify it, but you can't solve it. These two, you can actually solve.
Yeah, just like it's like.
Huh?
Why is it like that?
Well, because sometimes in math, remember when we started doing like the distributed property ones?
Yeah.
It was, 2x plus 5. That was an expression, and you just simplified it. Not until we add an equal sign can we solve it. There are times where they'll ask you, select which one's an expression, and then they'll give you like A, B, C, D. and they'll give you a problem like this, and like this, for example, and you just select, okay, which one's an expression? Oh, that one's an expression. Or, which of the following is an example of an inequality? And then they'll give you A, B, C, D, and you find the one that has the less than equal to. That's usually what they'll ask you on tests. Does that make sense? Yes, you have to know the difference between an inequality, equation, and expression as a 7th grader. I know. I don't really get it. Okay, let's do one with... Okay, don't mess this up. 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 Don't mess this up.
The viewers who are probably watching this are probably like, what?
I know.
SpongeBob.
Well, they're public YouTube videos, so if you Google search, like, distributed property, any person in the world can look at my video and go, what?
And just hear us?
And just hear us, because they're not they're not like...
Hello, viewer.
Huh?
Hello, viewer.
I know, hello, viewer. I'm not doing a traditional YouTube video, which is edited, and it's like, for any audience. I'm recording the lesson, so if anybody's watching this that's not my student, they might be like, what? Okay. So, what are we doing? First, distribute. What do we get after we write this down and we distribute? 10x plus 20 is equal to 100. So if it has an equal sign or if it has an inequality sign, it's still the same thing. Same process, no big deal. We can do this. Okay, what do I move first? 20.
It's an equation.
Yep.
It's an equation.
Yep.
An easy one.
Yep. We okay?
Yeah.
This is going one step back. Yeah. One step back to what we were doing yesterday. What we were doing yesterday looked like this.
We have to write it?
Yeah.
It's another equation.
Yeah. This is what we were doing yesterday, adding the distributive property. So one step forward compared to what we did yesterday. But Eddie, can I have you write this down? Okay. Distributive property. The smaller one.
You just minus 2x.
I don't have a 2x.
Oh, I forgot that you had to distribute the little lines.
Which brings me to my following point. Write this down. Pencil should not stop working. Brings me to my next point. Next week you're going to have your map test, right? It's going to be on your iPads. That doesn't mean you don't write things down. You guys are going to have problems that look like this, that it's hard to keep everything in your brain straight. Like it's hard, okay, let me first distribute, now let me subtract, now let me do this and that, let me divide now. It's hard to keep everything in your head. So make sure that you're writing things down and showing your work. Even though if it's an easy one, still write it down. Still show your work. You don't want to mess this up because you're like, I'm just going to do my brain. No. 12 is equal to 1x, or just x, plus 16, right? So I'm going to subtract the 4x because it's smaller. You want to move the smaller one so you don't deal with the negatives. Could you move the 5x? Yes, but then you end up with a negative x, which I got to show you what to do with that. Then I'm going to do subtract 16. On this side, I just have x, right? 1x, we just x. Yeah, I know. And sometimes that happens. No big deal. So what's 12 minus 16? Negative 4. Okay. At least I dealt with the negative at the very end. The very end. Okay, this makes me like super mad. Mad. Yes, please, and show it to me later, Angel. I'm dying to see my angry, detailed face.
Mine has small eyes, so big eyes.
Okay, we'll start with this. Kids will have this problem and be like, well, I'm done. Isn't x equal 6? Isn't that, what do you want me to do with that, Miss Lamelli? We're done, right? No, you're not done.
Aw, man.
What? You have to simplify it one more step because you have a negative x. Ain't nobody liking no negative x. I don't like this negative x.
Oh, it's negative. You don't like subtraction. Negatives are fine, right?
Correct. But no. What is right in between the 1 and the I'm sorry, what is, darn it, I gave you the answer. What is in between the negative and the x? 1. So this is technically negative 1 times x. So what number do I have to move? The negative 1. So I have to divide by a negative 1, divide by a negative 1. If you have a negative x, you are not done. You still have to get rid of this negative by dividing by negative 1. Why do I divide by negative 1? Because this negative is really a negative 1. So I divide by negative. X is equal to negative 6. X is equal to negative 6. Basically the opposite of this number. So
If it was an inequality, then you would like have to flip it.
yes, correct. All right, let's put it into context of 5 minus x is greater than, let's say, 15. All right. Seems like a pretty easy problem, right? One step. Seems like it's a one step. 5 minus x is greater than 15, right?
Plus 5.
No. Okay, that brings me to one mistake I did see on the homework. If I do, I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to do it in pencil because I got to erase it later. I don't have a pencil. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to make a mistake. If I add plus 5 here, I'm going to make a mistake.
Do we add that?
No. Does this give me 0? No. 5 plus 5 doesn't give me 0. But what students do, and I saw it on the homework a couple weeks ago, is they'll see this minus and they'll think like, oh, well, if it says minus, I got to add, right? But wait, this minus belongs to this x, not the 5. When you write second grade math problems, for example, 5 plus 5, you see how the plus sign's on this side? Oops, sorry. Or 5 plus 5, right? We don't write this problem like this, 5, 5, and write the plus sign on this side, do we? No. So why would you look behind it for the operation? You look in front of it. So some of you did this, and a lot of you did this, but I was like, not going to go over that. So don't look at this operation. This operation belongs to the x. What do I do to the 5 to make it a 0? Minus 5 minus 5. A lot of students want to put a plus. And that's when you go slow when you're solving to be like, wait, does 5 plus 5 give me 0? No. I would never make the operation write it on the back. That's just silly. Negative x greater than 10, right?
Then you divide by negative 1.
Yep. This is huge next year, and then when you guys get to algebra, you'll see a lot of negative x's. Okay, so you want to make sure you get rid of the negative x. Negative x, negative x. So x, flip, flip.
X is less than negative.
Why do I flip it? Because we divided by a negative. Remember that? These are like little things that, as you learn about equations and inequalities, you get taught, I didn't teach you about the negative until today, which is like 20 days after you first started doing this, because you weren't ready until today. All right, any questions? All right, can you take out the AB from yesterday? AB from yesterday. Huh? Beautiful. It's bright. Said that one. And unless it's the homework. Yeah, there you go. What's up?